I have a secret to share with you. And although it may seem silly to many, this tiny piece of information that I've hidden away from the world is the only thing keeping myself from being myself. Which sounds easy, but as we all know, that can be very, very hard. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start here. My name's Sam Potter. I'm 27 years old, and I'm a self-taught filmmaker from the island of Kauai. My films have brought me around the world and cultivated a passion for getting to know people. It's also brought me to the realization that I love my home more than anything. We have an incredible culture to learn from. We spend all the time we can outdoors. And I can personally say that I have the best group of friends anyone could ever ask for. And funny enough, if I'm being honest, it feels like I'm only just now becoming comfortable in my own skin. And it's only taken me 27 years. But if you're gonna understand why it's taken me so long, you're gonna have to understand the gravity of my secret. And for that, I'll have to take you back to the beginning.
When I turned a year old, my parents made a life-altering decision. They packed their bags, scooped me into their arms, and we embarked on a journey to the northernmost Hawaiian island, Kauai. To my parents, and to many other Americans, Hawaii was a place synonymous with paradise, a Hawaiian dream broadcasted to the masses, a dream that none of us would ever find.
Hi, Sam.
But on a long road of ups and downs, we would find something much, much greater. My first memories were in Lauai, on Harita Road. I remember when my ma brought my first best friend into this world, Dexter. And I remember the reservoir and how we loved it when it rained. I remember when she brought Ford into this world, my other best friend. And I remember how once it was the three of us, it was always that way. Our childhood was filled with fun and chaos and laughter.
You okay?
Just do what I always do.
What's that?
Lay down for a minute.
I never got the chance to know my grandpa, but I was told he was a hard man. A man who spent his childhood surviving the Great Depression, who fought in 2 wars, and when he passed away, he changed our lives forever by leaving my mom a significant gift of $30,000. A number that my pops was able to match with his savings, thanks to the vacation drunk patrons that filled the bars of Kauai.
What are you doing?
Videotaping the house.
So, they made a down payment on a piece of land in Koloa, surrounded by horse pastures. Our home was far from perfect for my parents. A torn up house surrounded by dirt and problems to be solved. But for us, it was an endless adventure. In the summers, we escaped the red dirt and lived at Polahale for months on end. There, I think my whole family got a taste of that dream my parents had, of what Hawaii could be for us, surrounded by the joys of the ocean. It's where I learned to swim, to be afraid, to be brave, to start fires and hunt and surf and fish. It's where I became who I am.
And as that idyllic summer ended, reality came crashing in. It was my first day at Kalaheo Elementary School, where I learned that I was different, and that different wasn't good. I was what the kids called haole, which means I had white skin, blonde hair, and stuck out like a sore thumb. And because of this, I was bullied and beaten up. And it's here that my seemingly insignificant secret becomes something to hide away. Because amongst a school of kids who are from here and belong to the island of Kauai, I did not. I was born in Pasadena, California, and that soon became my biggest secret. Because to me it was proof that they were right. That the only place that I ever called home was a place I didn't belong. I was a foreigner, a first-generation immigrant, a haole with haole parents who knew nothing of culture or customs or ways of being. But under the nurturing embrace of Haupu, I grew from a boy to a teen to a man. And in doing so, I became less and less of a foreigner.
I adapted to the culture I was immersed in.
I learned the do's and the don'ts of life in Hawaii.
Hey, slow down. Bust up that collar, I'll bust up your face.
Sometimes the hard way.
But I became part of the island, part of the community. Kauai raised me. It raised me to be kind and humble and proud of where I grew up. And it taught me many lessons before I headed out into the world.
But it wasn't until I returned from my travels that Hawaii taught me my greatest lesson. Aloha.
Which, if I was to try and translate into English, I would have to say it means love.
Throughout my childhood, I developed a chip on my shoulder.
That in many ways kept me from giving or receiving aloha. And it wasn't until I rid myself of that I was truly able to be aloha. And when I did, I realized that I do belong here.
And in that moment, everything changed for me.
Hawaii became more than this paradise portrayed by Hawaii calls.
It became more than a life amongst the world's most coveted vacation destination.
It became a place to care for and learn from. An unmatched chain of islands.
Rich with culture and filled with endless possibilities.
And home to some of the most incredible people this world has to offer.
And now that I've found the real Hawaii, I want to share it with you.
So, from Hawaii with Aloha, I invite you to join me right here for a new video every month. Where together, we'll learn about what truly makes Hawaii
The greatest place on earth. Aloha from Hawaii. Make sure you check out our first ever Aloha from Hawaii hat, linked below. Next weekend, I'll be dropping my first ever podcast. So any questions you have for me, I'll make sure to answer them. Drop them below as well. Mahalo Olukai for supporting these stories. Our next video is gonna be featuring Kimmy Werner, so make sure you don't miss that. See you next weekend.